Alrighty folks, Murden here, and yeah, the midweek hump is over, and what an interesting day it actually turned out to be. You had Trump there announcing a tariff increase for India due to their purchasing of Russian oil, and then you also had the White House coming out today stating that Apple have pledged a further $100 billion in funding to bring manufacturing more stateside with regards to their manufacturing process, which I believe is a $100 billion increase on an already $500 billion pledge. So yeah, quite interesting to see if Apple can actually use any of that to sustain itself. It did have a 5% rally up today post announcement, but it's just really, can they carry that forward in for the rest of the week and into the rest of the year? So it'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out for Apple, if they're just trying to pander to the administration and wait it out and see what comes next election cycle. So we'll see how many businesses are taking that line. And then if we jump over to oil, so we can take a look here at oil. Yesterday, what we got was a pretty decent run up overnight. However, we weren't able to sustain it going into the full market open. As you can see, we did run the 66 target. However, we lost that. Found a little bit of support in the daily pivot. Lost it, rejected it with a confirmation, and then continued to sell back down inside the range that I highlighted yesterday. So we are now back inside that, and for today it's really going to be the daily pivot or the Q3 here at 64.87 if anybody's looking for topside movement with oil. If you can retake the Q3, and then you can at least look for 66.11. However, any rejection up around here, then I would say the S1 at 63.02, followed by the 0.75 of the range at 62.44. And then if we take a look at gold, so yesterday gold wasn't really able to do very much overnight. It actually started to lose levels quite a bit in the run up overnight and into the full market open. So you can see the loss of the daily pivot there at 33.73, and then we front ran the line in the sand of 33.56 there down at the S1. So far for today, 33.70 is the level that you want to be seeing price trading above for continuation to the upside. A pretty decent pump out here at the fresh daily open. We can see price did run as high as 33.74 there in the first 15 minutes of the day. So if that's the kind of momentum that gold wants to have, I'd be looking at 33.83. Whereas if we are going to drop off, ideally you're not going to see anything below the weekly open. That would be kind of today's line in the sand. But if you do lose the weekly open or break through, it's most likely 33.56 again as the next level to the downside, the target. And next up on the sector front, we have consumer discretionary coming in with the strongest gains of the day with a 2% gain. Now, just front running the yearly open, that will be a big test for the sector as a whole if it's able to push up into that tomorrow. But I would say a lot of the gains there that the consumer discretionary sector has seen yesterday was also helped out by the gains posted by Tesla. Tesla was able to post 3.62% on the day. And if you actually just take a look at the higher time frame on Tesla, it is starting to squeeze here in this area. So it's going to be a very interesting play coming up. Really, I'd be targeting a breakout above 330 if we get topside. If we break out to the downside, which would be a loss of the Q3, then I would be pretty much looking for the November open on that one. And if we take a look then at the S&P 500, so we can see there yesterday the S&P 500 overnight we were able to actually recapture the weekly pivot, so that was able to save price from actually falling off through this 15-minute inefficiency that we formed out at that would be the Monday full session open. However, weekly pivot saved us and we ran it back up. So we danced around with the 63.12 level that I highlighted yesterday after a rejection of August. And then once the full market opened, we got the traditional pump up. So far, it looks pretty good for a continuation. Ideally, August is really going to be the level that you want to see price remain above. If you can remain above August, then it's 63.69 to the top side. Anything below August, then really it's the monthly pivot then at 63.17. Pretty easy there with the levels and structure. If we look at the Nasdaq, so the Nasdaq had a really strong play yesterday. So overnight we made the push up. We were able to retake the weekly pivot, We were also able to retake the daily and monthly. So I always highlight the fact that when you have these levels converging on top of each other, they do act as a high hit rate for price to spring from, whether that's to the top side or downside. And here today you can see push the weekly, ran the monthly, and then back tested both of them, and away price went. So just keep an eye out for the retracement today. If it does come down, you're really looking today's daily pivot 23,189, which is also the August open. So that's really August is what you want to hold. Hold that, and then you can go for the 23,400. Any failure or breakdowns, then yeah, again, I would just be targeting the pivot levels first and see how price acts there. If it doesn't show any support at these levels, then probably drive it back all the way down to the weekly open if something hard hit the market. And finally, the Dow Jones. So you can see here quite a topsy day for the Dow Jones, back to its good old self. So opened the day off at the daily pivot and ran up overnight into the monthly pivot, which was our top side target. So cleared that out before the full market open, and then we sold off in the run up. So we managed to hold price at the Q3 and the weekly pivot. So yet again, the weekly pivot stepping in to capture the price and save it from further downside. And then it was able to push back up throughout the full market open and just hold kind of flat there for the rest of the day. So as we can see for today, 44,208 is the level to hold for the overnight trading on the Dow Jones. If we can hold that, then once again, folks, it's monthly pivot to the top side. That's what you're looking to break through. Any failure, and then it's weekly pivot to the downside. So quite perfect with the levels here. To the downside, you do have a bit of extra in terms of high time frame opens to provide support. So you've got August and the Q3 along with February in there as well. So yeah, pretty good levels for the Dow Jones to set up and take a couple of trades with. But just keep an eye on everything, folks. We are coming to the close. So today is Thursday, and tomorrow will be the end of another week. So just keep an eye on everything, folks. It does look pretty good for a little bit of continuation, but we'll see how everything plays out, and if there's anything worth addressing during the day, we will address it. Thanks very much. Have a good one.